it's Sue, and today I did the letter K for the alphabet challenge. So, let's get right into it. I bring you news from the future. Only I'm not technically from the future because you're going to be watching this after I've recorded it. But I am from the future of... I have already done the next letter. That's what I'm trying to say. I came back and redid this one because, as sad as it is, I did not do Kiel justice in the first attempt at this drawing. And I can't say this work is my best either, but it's better. I don't even know if I want to show you the other one because I don't like it. Like, it's not horrible, but I will show you it just because you're probably going to be curious now. But, for this one, I don't know, I really wanted to draw someone running their hand through their hair. So I did that for that one because it seemed like a Kiel thing. It was a really strange urge. Don't know why I wanted to do that. That's not something I've ever done. And I gotta say, it's very hard without a reference. I don't know how to draw a hand on top of a head with hair. It did not help that all of Kiel's colors are very dark and that you cannot tell the hand apart from the hair later, but that's okay. I mean, you kinda can. Well, you gotta keep looking for it. I had to size down the sketch and then scale it back up because I could not figure out how to get that arm there without sketching it fully out. Which I guess is kind of what you're supposed to do. You sketch the whole arm instead of just trying to guess, but, just not the point. I went over here and tried to do a second sketch layer. I tried to move his head down further to look like he was putting a little bit more into the wink, because, Kiel loves the wink, if you've read the books. But, I don't know, this one looked weird. Like, really weird, and it was nothing like my original sketch. So even though I didn't love my original sketch, I went back to it and just kind of fixed anything I didn't like because it was better than what I was trying to do there. I do think the hand turned out relatively okay. Whether it looks like he's actually running his hand through his hair, that is debatable, but I tried. For when I usually draw Kiel, I draw his hair a little bit different than what I did here. I did this one more based on the cover art. Before I did it completely differently. I will put up an example picture. It's pretty old, but, it gets the point across of what I used to. But now with my new art, if I give him that hairstyle, he looks way too old. He's 13, not 16. So, I had to give him this hair, and thankfully I was actually able to do it, unlike how I used to be able to. I don't know why it was so hard for me in my past, but I don't know, we're having a lot of mentions of time in this video. I don't know why. I really like the Story Thieves books. They've been my favorite book series for 2 years now. I did have to redraw his hand. It was not working. But I love the books. Haven't read any other James Riley works, but I've probably read the Story of these books like 6 times now. And not to mention when I've just read one book. So that's a lot. And if you haven't read them, I do suggest you do read them. Not many people draw fan art of the characters, which makes me a little sad because I still can't figure out how to draw Owen. And I want to draw Owen, but sometimes I need some actual art to figure it out. And nobody does anything, so there is no help. When I say nobody, I mean like mostly nobody. And if they do it, they do not post it online because I cannot find it. But then again, I do not look online very much, so that does make sense. I feel like I've gone off topic. What was I talking about? But yeah, Owen's hard to draw. I used to be able to draw him, now I can't. Couldn't draw Kiel, now I can. I guess we just kind of swapped. Here I drew Kiel's face. He's kind of got like a smirk or something. Which, this face expression reminds me of Keith. Why did your names both have to start with K? I want to draw both of you. Does it count if I do S for Simpson? No, because I'm going by first name. So that doesn't work. Oh well. But, yeah. Oh my gosh, I've completely forgotten what I was talking about. It had something to do with Kiel. I know that much. Alright, moving on. We'll just see if it comes back to me later. I feel like what I had to say was important, though. Okay, wait, I remember now. It was about Kiel's face. The expression I made, he doesn't look very happy after I color it. So I have to go back later and change the expression because it doesn't look the happiest, and I want him to look happier, you know? At this point, I'd finished the line art, and I was ready to move on to the coloring and rendering. I selected all of Kiel's colors from the first book's cover, and then adjusted them as needed. I always imagined Kiel with lighter skin, but if I look at the book covers, he does have more tan skin, so I made sure to put that in that one. I don't know, whenever I imagine boys with, or anyone with black hair, I typically imagine paler skin because I usually think Japanese or something. But there are people with black hair who have darker skin. That is completely normal. I don't know why that just never occurs to me. So I made sure to do that with this one. I shaded everything in, and this one I did a little bit more. It ends up looking a little bit more painterly than my usual rendering style. There you can see that the hand completely blends in. That's not very ideal, but it ends up looking more painterly than my normal style. Why is someone opening the door? Go away. Right, it looks a little more painterly than my usual style because of all the blurring and blending I do, but I am not opposed to that since it looks a little bit more like the Story Thieves cover. I added a big blue highlight to make his hair look super shiny, but I ended up lowering the opacity of this so much that it isn't very noticeable in the end, but that's just because the blue does not look very good on the black when I'm done. But it looks fine after I lower the opacity like that much, and then erase it mostly at the top. I did like a white highlight to the top. It's kind of like a bounce light or a secondary light source. And I imagine most of lighting is coming from the bottom right, but it doesn't completely convey that, so maybe it's like mid-right? I don't know, it's coming somewhere and closer to the bottom. I usually go to the top, so this was a little bit different. It was weird not adding a super strong shadow under his head and more like cast by the cape. I wanted to make sure that his little jewel thingy was very round looking because that sounded like a lot of fun. And I did make sure that the jewel thingy matched his eyes because he does have purple eyes, and that's cool. So, and the jewel looks more blue on the cover art, but I thought it'd be nice to incorporate the purple somewhere else, and I think that's kind of what it's supposed to be. You can't really see his eye color in that one, so we'll just have to, not here. I made it super round. Look at that. That's beautiful. I like rendering round things. It's a little messy, but like I don't care that much. I added any highlights I needed to. I was rendering above the line art layer too, so I had to be careful to not cover up the line art. And I had to shade these teeth a couple times. They were just looking kind of weird. I need to do like a teeth study, I guess, to be able to draw mouths without making them look completely weird, because they tend to look completely weird. I added a secondary shadow layer to his face, but here's where I changed the expression. But I ended up coming back later, and softening up all the shadows because they were too harsh in some areas. I had to fix all the coloring too when I adjusted the expression because they didn't move together because I can't use the liquify tool on a folder for some reason. I can use the transform tool, just not the liquify one, which is kind of annoying. Here's where I added the more soft shading. I probably need to learn to time when I'm saying better, so I'm actually talking about it when I'm doing it. But I jump ahead because I ran out of things to say, so I just have to figure it out as I go. At this point, I didn't know what else to do. I filled in the background, kind of made it convey the lighting thing with the light more coming from below. Still can't see that hand up on his head, but that's okay. I realized I completely forgot to shade the hair up here, so I kind of did that. I also shaded the fingers, but that made it even worse. So I left that out and just kind of did it. Since the lighting is coming from more below, I tried not to make it super strong. And I added any more blue highlights where I needed to. I added a blue highlight there. And this, my friend, is completely illegal because I did not learn this calligraphy style yet. I learned this in the next video for this series. You're not supposed to do that. But here's the finished picture. I quite like it. Now I can't do it. I'm sorry. I've got to go back and fix something. So I went back into the app after I put everything in my editing software and tried to strengthen up all the rendering. saved Kiel as an image on a transparent layer, did some color correcting, which I ended up completely undoing later. And I honestly was just like, how do I fix this? Because I don't love it. Of course, I went straight and tried my original technique, as you are seeing, which is apply a multiply layer and erase. And this did help, but I ended up lightening this so much because I don't love how dark it gets. Like, with his expression and stuff, it doesn't really fit the lighting situation. So I ended up lighting this a lot. And I was fighting with the lighting. I kept going back and forth between which one I liked better. And in the end, I learned what I didn't like about it is I just did not define the planes of the face and as much as I did the rest of it. And it just looked kind of weird. Like, his head looked like it was 2D, while the rest of him looked like it was more 3D. So I ended up adding like a add layer with like a purpley color to define more of the highlighted areas, and that helps a ton. I added it to quite a few places actually, and yeah, I was still not completely happy with it. Clipped the layer to the folder because it was going everywhere, and that looked a little weird. And I guess there was really nothing else for me to do. I saved it as a image, thought it was good, and then I realized I wasn't happy with this either. So I went back, removed the color correction layer, lightened up all the shading, and this was the finished picture. I like this a lot more, and I hope you all enjoyed this redo of the video, and I hope to see you on my next video. Bye!